Hello, welcome to my video. I'm making a video. I'll have an overlay in the corner above my map shortly about the changes they're making to the Death Knight. These changes are crucial to know if you're to continue PvPing, PvEing, or anything properly. I'm getting out of trade chat because basically my server trade chat has too many inappropriate jokes, so I'm just leaving the chat. Anyway, yeah. So basically, I'll put the thing somewhere above my guy. Now, as you can tell, I have a custom key binding set up. I use it in combination with Bartender 4. It's a really nice add-on. And that's how I have all this set up. Hold on. You freaking idiot. Okay. Now that distraction's gone. Oh yeah. I got the Mechanic Honk. And I got the Recruiter Rocket. Oh yeah, I love that. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. Obliterate's receiving a 10% nerf. That isn't too bad because Obliterate does need is quite powerful and can bring a high amount of health to no health very quick with a killing machine proc. However, even though they're nerfing Obliterate, that doesn't mean you're shit out of luck. But what it does mean is each Obliterate crit will do 10% less damage. Which, when you're talking about how much damage it does, is a significant change. Now, I'll go about how Blizzard's countering that little change later, and you should be able to see it where it says definitely bug fixes if you just want to skip along to read that text. But Hungry and Cold now has a 1.5 second cast time. That is a huge change. You can no longer just freeze everyone in place to avoid death. You have to know when you want to use it and use it ahead of time. So that basically you have to plan it out, and that greatly diminishes its usefulness. So that's pretty bad. Now, if you think that's bad, they're also nerfing Might of the Frozen's Race 2-handle specialization, which I'm a dual with Death Knight, so big warp, right? Oh, by the way, as you can tell, I got on Bloodthirsty, but I also got quite a bit of Vicious as well. So the thing is, in the next patch, all the Vicious will be available for just honor points. So it's like, what is it now? And the patch is coming out pretty quick anyway. So Unholy is actually receiving a buff, which will increase your strength by 15% more than it already does. Unholy Might normally increases it by 5, now it increases it by 20%. So that's a significant buff to Unholy, so anyone who's a fan of Unholy spec might want to think about checking it back out after the patch, because it might be worth it. I don't know, I just play Frost because that's what I'm good at. But the big change is to a glyph, and I love what the glyph does now. I hate what they're doing to it. Glyph of the Dark Successor currently causes all Death Knight abilities to restore 15% of your maximum health. That is good. That's a hell of a glyph, because it gave Frost a huge amount of survivability that it did not have before. Where freaking Unholy had spell mitigation that's higher than freaking... Basically, what they're doing to it is it's gonna work a lot like the Warriors Victory Rush does for a freaking Fury and Arms Royal. You kill someone, you attack someone with Victory Rush, you restore health. That's how it's going to be changed. Except it'll be 20% of your maximum health, not 15, so big whoop in my opinion. Hold on. Don't want to bother getting in combat. And so back to what I'm saying, freaking that glyph is really being fucked over. Now, however, they all, like I said, in the bug fixes. Now, my freaking both weapons, this one and this one, can trigger my killing machine proc. That means twice as many killing machines, which is huge. Cause at the moment, only this one will trigger them, which is bad, because then you're getting less killing machine procs. Hold on. Like I said, it won't be instant cast anymore, so that's kind of sad. That really makes me sad. Notice how everything seems to be aggroing to me. It's quite annoying. So, the sad part is because I'm standing in a place I don't want to move from. But anyway, as I was saying, that means you're getting twice as many killing machine procs if you dual wield. Although you're not hitting as hard with the 10% debuff on Obliterate, you're getting more killing machine procs, and like the talent specialization of Frost always has said, right there, Icy Harbinger of Doom, channeling Meg Power, and delivering rapid weapon strikes. That's the whole key thing here. It's supposed to be rapid attacks. And with a two-handle Frost build, that really takes away from that, in my opinion. It's supposed to be attacking like a rogue almost, or a Fury Warrior. You're not supposed to be attacking like a freaking Wet Paladin, you know? The playstyle is completely different. But anyway. Now, as far as my rotation, and this is a thing every freaking Frost DK should tell you. If they tell you an exact rotation, they're wrong. They are wrong. First off, you at least get your Frost Fever on with Howling Blast, because you should have it glyphed. And then you spam Frost Strike, and when you're out of runes, Runic Power, you use one Obliterate. Reason, you don't want to run out of runes and then get a killing machine proc and not be able to use it. You always want that killing machine proc. Also, the more killing machine procs you get with your Obliterate, the more damage you do, obviously. Now, I have my current setup with the way my keyboard's set up, I can alternate between a Obliterate and a Death Strike with the least amount of action, which makes it very simple. I just freaking move my finger over one button and it's done. As you can tell, this is a very nice setup for me. And another thing to note is Icebound Fortitude is huge. I only use it when I'm stunned. I do not use it any other time, because if you don't use it when you're stunned and know someone's trying to lock you up, you're making a mistake if you're using it just for the damage reduction, because that's 3 minutes that you need to be using to 12 seconds to kill someone. Anti-magic shell, don't use this when you're up against a warrior or a rogue. It's not going to do you diddly shit. I've seen so many Death Knights do that and it does no good, because they're purely physical damage. Now, against a Paladin or a DK, that wouldn't apply. And basically, I'm an engineer. As you can tell, I got the freaking Nitro boots. Gotta love them. And basically, that's my setup as far as that goes. As far as my spec, you can take a look at if you want. I just haven't changed it in a long time because it just works perfectly. Permafrost, so your Chains of Ice now is a root. That's handy. Also, this combat is handy as hell because if you want to finish someone off and they're below 35% off, your killing machine proc will kill them. It does 12% more damage, so Blizzard didn't. Make sure you got the spec right. Now, this one's optional. I picked it up because I like the reduction of movement slowing effects. Good when I'm up against a Frost Mage, but Endless Winter makes it so you can use your Mind Freeze whenever, and I've been debating which is more important to me. Now, the reason I threw 2 in here, but I didn't throw 3, 1, talent point limitations, but 2, that means I can get that many more attacks off it with a full Runite Power Ball. But you'd be surprised how fast it builds up, especially in PvP, when you have the full set bonus, because every time you're being struck by a movement impairing effect, you instantly gain 3 Runite Power every second for 5 seconds, and you know how often you're getting CC'd. So you don't want to be CC'd. Now, as far as glyphs, minor glyphs are very optional because there aren't many good ones, I'll put it that way. You do not, for any PvP reason, and most DPS reasons, Pillar of Frost is a bad glyph, because basically what it used to do is also increase your strength by another 5%, but it would root you in place. But now it makes it so you can't lose control of your character, so they even nerfed it more from the last time I looked. You want Hungry and Cold, you want Dark Successor regardless of the patch or not, and you can either choose between like Strangulate or Anti-Magic Shell would be my recommendations. Chain of Ice I've never used. It might be very effective, but I don't know. I just never used it. Now, this glyph here is a must because it makes the whole spec I use work. Chillblains. Whenever someone's infected with Frost Fever, they're slowed by half the movement speed. And that's big when you have an AoE slow. Blizzard can nerf freaking Howling Blast all they want, but unless they remove this glyph or change it, I can still PvP with the tune. And if they remove this glyph, they just skull fucked every Frost DK on the planet to a ill-usable state at 85. So if they do that, I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly. Glyph of Obliterate must increases your damage, because with all the stats I have increasing my Obliterate damage, as you can see on the other side of my screen from where I'm highlighting it, says I do 264% weapon damage, and that includes both weapons, plus basically 1200 damage, and the damage is increased by another 12.5% for each disease, so it adds up a lot. If you go in against a certain target, use Outbreak instead of Howling Blast. You may still need to use Howling Blast, but Outbreak will increase your Obliterate damage by 25% instead of just freaking 12.5, because each disease goes on and it doesn't use any runes. But be mindful of how you use that. So, Frost Strike, the reason I recommend that one is it lowers the runic power requirement, which means you can spam it more and get your killing machine procs that much faster. Icy Touch, it's useless for Frost because Howling Blast is your utter and complete replacement for it. You don't use Icy Touch as a Frost Death Knight, you use Howling Blast with the glyph. That is no ifs, ands, or buts. And the reason you don't use Blood Strike anymore, notice I have 2 permanent Death Runes, and Death Runes count as all rune types. So I can freaking use Howling Blast 4 times, or I can use Obliterate 3 times. And the reason that's good is if you think about it, Scorched Strike and Hot Strike and Blood Boil, depending on your spec, if you're Blood Boil, and Hot Strike, of course, but that you get 2 attacks with every one. You get 1 attack with every rune that you already have. Like, there's 2 blood runes. Each blood attack uses 1 rune, right? No big deal. Frost Death Knights use 2 runes and with the main damage move, which is Obliterate. So they run themselves out of runes completely, and the only reason they ever used Blood Strike was originally to get the freaking death runes, and it was a pointless effort because by the time you had your death runes, the fight was over. And now it opens up the way for me to put Necrotic Strike to use much better. Because what it does is when you're up against a healer, you absorb the healing received by 7k. It may not seem much, but the big old factor is it makes it 30% longer for the enemy to cast it, and you'll absorb a chunk of the heal. It may not be much, but if you spam that move on a healer while getting your obliterates off, the healer can't heal itself worth a damn. Especially if it's like a druid, because you absorb the dots as they tick. I mean, not dots, hots. And once they finish ticking, you get your... Once they finish ticking, you know, because the debuff's gone, and then you freaking do it again. You just absorb their heals, and they heal you, basically, without realizing it. It doesn't do a shit ton for damage. Hell, it does very little. But it's the equivalent of a rogue putting freaking mind-numbing poison on someone, as well as wounding poison. So it's a overall good thing to have. Darksucculent. I don't even know how to say the damn word. But what I really like about that move is its utility use isn't really all that much. You might want to pop it every here and there and see if you can get something absorbed, like a Pally Bubble, Pally Wings, Arcane Missiles, Arcane Blast. Something absorbed that does a ton of damage. A Lava Burst. It's like anything that's not a channel becomes instant cast. Doesn't matter how long it normally takes to cast it. Instant cast, Exorcism, anything. Arcane Missiles is a channel spell, so it takes a few seconds to cast. I tried copycatting someone's Boomkin form, it didn't work, so I wish it did. That would have been funny. 2 Boomkins dancing. You know? Well. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, and good job putting up with me, or whatever. Hope you learned something. Oh, shit, I almost forgot. Lichborn, there's 2 ways to use this move. The way I use it is probably the bad way, especially after the next patch, where you use it to get out of a fear effect and grant immunity. But the way it's probably best used is use it and then follow that up with a bunch of death coils to heal yourself with. Yes, you heard me right, you can heal yourself with that combo. But that's once they freaking 4.2 comes out. That's a countermeasure you can use. And anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, please message me. And I don't like Zorging, if you're wondering about my PvP style. I'm pretty much a lone wolf in the battleground. I fly solo and take out as many as I can. Generally do pretty good. And I really despise Zorging, mainly because the alliance side on my server/battle group does nothing but it. And I was trying to get a good fight where I was basically on my own in Tolboad, in my last PvP video, the second one, and I was unable to get a single moment by myself, and that's what kind of sucked in that background. I wanted to show my skills, but instead I got stuck with a freaking Zorgroup, and I'm like, oh, really? But I will also show where I, at the time, am weak. Like, in that fight, in the last clip, I nearly lose to a Frost Mage, and luckily a Unholy DK started freaking spamming his Death Coil, thus killing him and saved my ass. I'm not afraid to say, hey, I'm not the best PvPer. I'm just trying to improve like anyone else and work my way to the top, you know? No one's perfect at anything, including this game. And so, yeah. You guys, thank you for watching. Bye.